Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome. Today I thought I would pop in and give you a quick review of the new Juvia's Place, the Rebel Quads. There are 4 in the collection. I picked up 3 and I've done eyeshadow tutorials with all 3 of the palettes that I will link down below. And I always have linked below my Juvia's Place playlist of all the eyeshadow tutorials I've done with all my Juvia's Place palettes if you're ever interested to see. Now, as I said, there are 4 palettes in the collection. I have 3: the Rebel Mints, the Rebel Army, and the Rebel Grays. I chose not to pick up the Rebel Honey, which is a beautiful quad of orange eyeshadows. I just decided not to buy that one. I actually only bought 2 of these palettes. Juvia's Place messed up my order, so I ordered the Army and the Grays, and they sent me the Army and the Mints. So when I reached out to them, and I was anxious to reach out to them because, you know, I've heard horror stories about Juvia's Place's customer service, primarily from when they first launched, but I went on ahead and I reached out to them the day that I got my order. The next morning I got a reply with my order. I did send a picture of the 2 palettes they sent me, along with a picture of my packing slip that had the correct palettes they were supposed to send me. So I got a response the next morning and telling me that no problem, they were going to send out the correct palette. They did not ask me to send back the palette, the Mints palette. The customer service agent said she appreciated my sending the pictures because I anticipated that they were going to ask me for photos. And then right after that email, there was a shipping notice and I got my palettes within the same week. So kudos and shout out to the Juvia's Place customer service. The only time I've ever had to deal with them, and my one experience was excellent. So I hope that means that now they've got it right. I hope so. All the palettes, the quads, are monochromatic and they retail for $10. Now, as I'm filming this, there is a sale. Juvia's is having 35% off everything, even the new palettes, so you can grab them. I don't know if the sale is on now when you're watching this video, but right now you could grab these for $6.50. But I went on ahead and bought them because I was afraid that the colors that I wanted would be sold out by the time a sale rolled along. Anywho, I don't think $10 is a bad price for the quads. You look like you get a good size. I don't know how much is in each palette, but they look like pretty good size pans, and it's $2.50 when you break it down for each eyeshadow, and I think that's fine for me. The packaging, of course, is gorgeous. The look of the packaging is exactly the color story that you get inside. Now, in the tutorial videos that I did with each quad, I did include swatches of each of the palettes. Starting out with the matte shadows, I found that the mattes in all 3 of the palettes were nicely pigmented and blended out easily. The metallics are stunning. Okay, stunning. I'm wearing actually the Mints on my eyes today, and I mean, just look at it. I used all of the metallics on my lids dry, and I may have, like for today, I wet the inner corner shadow, but the lids, I used all the metallics dry, and they look like liquid metal, especially the grays. The metallics in this one look like liquid metal on my eyes, and I used them dry. Absolutely stunning. There is fallout though with these metallics. You get a lot of shine, but there is some fallout. I did use a glitter glue with all three of the palettes, and I still have fallout on my face. Just something for you to be aware of. Now I want to talk about each palette individually. So the Rebel Army palette, absolutely gorgeous. This color story, this grungy green color story is so beautiful. So beautiful, right up my alley. This green here, this dark green is just so beautiful. It's a lot more subtle than this one. This lime green type one, absolutely stunning. I'm not gonna swatch all of these palettes because, as I said, in each of the tutorial videos I did swatch them, but I just wanted you to see the difference between these two metallic shades. But they're both stunning. I think this color story is gorgeous. It's cohesive, it's grungy, and love the look that I did with it. I also think with this color story, I mean, you're always, of course, going to get green, but I just feel like there's so many different looks that I can get using just these four shadows. So absolutely love this. Had no problems using this palette. On to the Rebel Grays. This is the beautiful monochromatic gray palette. And this one, though, in my opinion, has more of a blue undertone. So when I did the look, it looked more blue than gray to me. And even the hubster noted, oh, he's like, oh, your eyeshadow did pretty blue on the eyes today. And I'm like, yeah, it is blue, isn't it? So you're not getting like true gray. It's more like a blue gray. And this one has the two metallic eyeshadows in it and one satin. And this satin, I used it in my crease like I would a matte, and I still got a lot of sparkle to it. Even though it's more of a satin shade, I still did get a lot of sparkle to it, but it's definitely not as intense as these metallics here. So, and this palette here, these metallics in this palette, liquid metal, I am trying to tell you. Now this matte shade is just not as dark as I would have preferred. I would have preferred this to be deeper, or I would have preferred that they swapped out this satin shade and replaced it either with a black or with a deeper gray matte shadow. So that's the grays. The look, I enjoyed the look that I did with this one too. I thought it came out beautiful. More blue than gray, but beautiful. And then the Rebel Mints is this beautiful quad of like seafoam blue shadows. You get two metallics here and then two mattes. I felt like these two, this is the palette I'm wearing today on my eyes, and I feel like these two kind of look like the same shade once I blended them. I used this one in my crease today, and then I used this one to blend out the edge, and you can see some difference. You can see a little depth, but a little difference, but not a whole lot. This shadow is absolutely stunning. It is the one that I'm wearing on the lids today, and it is just so beautiful. It's like this green, lime green, turquoise, just absolutely stunning. And I thought when I swatched it, because I just dug my finger into it, into the matte shade. I thought after swatching it that this one was going to be more of a topper shade because it's a little thinner than this one. This one tends to have, this one has a lot more substance to it. But I put on the glitter glue, and as you can see, it shows up. It's nice and opaque. It's absolutely stunning. And then this one here, I used wet on the lower lash line, and had no issues, as I said, using any of the metallics wet or dry. I do wish that, and the reason why I didn't buy this quad, this is the one that they sent to me erroneously. The reason why I didn't buy this one is because it doesn't have a deep matte shadow in it, and I like to put a deep shade in my outer V area and smoke it out, and this just doesn't have it. Yeah, this doesn't have enough. This look that I did today just doesn't have enough depth for me, but it's a beautiful, beautiful palette. And these two right here, this one though, oh, so beautiful. Now, which one of the three is my favorite? That is absolutely the Army Quad. Just the color story is just so me. And I had no issues with it, just right up my alley. So this one is definitely my favorite. My least favorite would be the Mints, because it doesn't have a deepening shade in it. I would have to use this with another palette to get the look that I really, you know, the kind of look that I normally do with my eyeshadows. I would need to use another palette to achieve that. So this for me is not a standalone palette, but I could definitely see myself going into this palette for this shimmer, this metallic especially, and using it with other palettes to do other eye looks. So this one would be my least favorite. And then the grays, I like the grays, but I love the metallics in this one, because this one, they really stood out. But yeah, I would have preferred to have a darker matte shadow, and for this palette to be a lot more on the gray black tone of the gray spectrum than the gray blue spectrum. But all of the palettes are really pretty. I liked every look that I did with all three of them, and I'm happy to have them in my collection. Would I recommend them? I think if you don't mind, if you have a deeper skin tone like me and you don't mind pulling in other eyeshadows from other palettes or from your singles, then yes, I would recommend all three. I think the quality of these quads are really nice. For me, the metallics are more like the metallics of old that I'm used to from Juvia's Place. When they first launched early on, those metallics were just better than anything else in my collection. And I feel like as they went on, especially with the 6-pan palettes, I feel like for the palettes that I have, in some of those palettes, the metallic shadows were just not as foiled as my older palettes. But these quads are a return of those metallics, because these quads are definitely, the metallics in these quads are super foiled, super in fact impactful, super gorgeous. Let me know in the comments below if you have any of these palettes, what your thoughts are, or if you're planning to pick up any of them, which ones. If you found this video helpful, then please give it a like and consider subscribing, because I do eyeshadow tutorials, hauls, swatches, and reviews every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.